Hey guys, it's your number one blog gist Steph, and as always I'm back again with another hot gist that would definitely leave you glued and wanting more. This one is already shaking the table and setting timelines on fire because it is said that Sonia allegedly advised Bryne to avoid any public drama with Maurice, and fans are already pulling different interpretations, connecting dots, and pouring out wild reactions. You all know whenever Sonia's name gets linked to Maurice in any way, even if indirectly, it turns into chaos online, and adding Bryne into the mix just makes this gist hotter than ever. Sit tight because this is going to be one of the spiciest breakdowns you will hear today. Now here's what allegedly went down. Reports making waves online suggest that Sonia privately told Bryne to stay clear of any kind of public back and forth with Maurice, reminding him that social media drama never ends well and only adds fuel to existing rumors. According to sources close to the gist, Sonia wanted Bryne to focus on his work and let his talent speak rather than getting dragged into the whirlwind of Maurice's constant headlines. But you know the internet never sleeps. This little alleged advice has already turned into a storm with people asking why Sonia felt the need to mention Maurice at all. Fans are questioning whether Sonia is still being drawn into situations surrounding Maurice despite trying to move on with her own life. Others are wondering if she's simply being protective of Bryne and trying to shield him from the type of media heat she knows all too well. Immediately this gist dropped, the internet divided into different camps. Some fans believe Sonia did the right thing by telling Bryne to avoid drama, saying it shows maturity and growth on her part. They argue that Sonia has lived through enough messy headlines with Maurice and probably doesn't want Bryne dragged into similar waters. One fan wrote, "Sonia is protecting Bryne, she knows how the media spins things and she doesn't want him caught in unnecessary mess. That's what love looks like." Another one jumped in saying, "She's just being smart, Maurice's name is always trending with drama, Bryne should focus on shining on his own lane." These comments clearly paint Sonia as the calm voice of reason in a world that constantly thrives on scandals. But of course, not everyone is buying into that angle. A large section of fans are calling out Sonia, suggesting that her even mentioning Maurice in a conversation with Bryne shows she hasn't fully let go. One reaction that gained thousands of likes read, "Why is she still bringing up Maurice's name though? If she's moved on, she wouldn't even have the energy to discuss him. This is proof she still thinks about him." Another person said, "Protecting Bryne is one thing, but why use Maurice as an example? That's a subconscious attachment right there." You can already see how divided the audience is, half giving her credit for maturity, the other half accusing her of still being stuck in the past. What makes this gist even hotter is how people are dragging Bryne into the middle of it all. Some fans feel Bryne is in an awkward position, having to deal with Sonia's past constantly being tied to Maurice while trying to build his own career. They argue that every time Sonia speaks or acts, it somehow gets connected back to Maurice, and Bryne is left standing there as though he's caught in a shadow. One fan passionately wrote, "Bryne deserves better. Why must his relationship always be in the same sentence as Maurice? Let the guy breathe, he is talented and doesn't need all this extra noise." Another said, "Sonia should focus on building with Bryne without ever referencing her past. If she keeps comparing or bringing up Maurice, it's unfair to her current man." These reactions are proof that fans are not only invested in Sonia's choices but also deeply concerned about how they affect Bryne. Still, there's another section of fans who believe Sonia advising Bryne might actually be a sign of strength in their bond. They say it shows that Sonia truly cares about Bryne's image and doesn't want him entangled in negative press. Someone wrote, "This is not about Maurice, this is about Sonia learning from her mistakes. She has been dragged before, so now she's telling Bryne not to repeat that cycle. It's wisdom, not obsession." Another echoed the same view, adding, "If Sonia didn't care about Bryne, she wouldn't even bother to guide him. Her saying he should avoid drama is her way of protecting what they have." This angle has made people see Sonia not as someone clinging to the past, but as someone using her past experience to build a stronger future. The gist didn't stop there because speculation started flying about what exactly Bryne was supposed to avoid. Did Sonia mean Bryne should avoid responding to subtle shade from Maurice? Was there an unspoken tension between the two men behind the scenes? Some fans believe Sonia's advice hints at the possibility that Bryne and Maurice may have crossed paths in ways the public doesn't know about. One fan boldly wrote, "If Sonia is saying this, then something must have happened behind closed doors. Maybe Maurice and Bryne had a clash and she's just trying to cool it down. Another fan speculated, Maurice probably threw indirect at Bryne or there's some quiet competition going on. Sonia is just making sure it doesn't blow up publicly. The mystery surrounding what triggered Sonia's alleged advice is what has kept the gist alive, as people try to connect hidden dots. Some even went further, saying Sonia might be overcompensating in an attempt to prove she has truly moved on. A fan posted, she wants to show Bryne that she's on his side and not tied to Maurice anymore. That's why she's cautioning him against public drama. It's her way of saying, I've learned and I'm with you. Another added, she's probably trying to clean her own name too because she knows people will drag her again if Bryne starts clashing with Maurice. This is as much about protecting herself as it is about protecting him. These takes are making the story even juicier because now it's not just about advice, it's about strategy, self-image, and personal reputation. The loudest reactions though are from fans who have followed the Maurice-Sonia saga from day one. These fans are convinced that no matter what Sonia does, Maurice will always find a way back into the narrative, and they blame her for not cutting him off completely in conversations. One sharp comment read, until Sonia stops even mentioning Maurice's name, she will never escape the shadow. She's tying herself down by referencing him every time. Another equally bold fan wrote, the reason people don't fully buy Sonia's new happiness is because she still has this Maurice cloud hovering. Even advising Bryne, she can't help but bring him into the gist. These reactions highlight how Sonia is trapped in a cycle of public perception that keeps linking her past and present no matter how she tries to separate them. Yet, as much as people criticize her, there's no denying Sonia has once again captured everyone's attention. Her name is everywhere, her alleged advice is the hottest discussion online, and fans cannot stop dissecting every angle. Whether she meant it innocently as advice for Bryne or whether it reveals lingering feelings about Maurice, Sonia has become the center of controversy again. Some fans are already predicting that this gist could spark even more drama if Maurice decides to respond indirectly. A user tweeted, I give it 1 week before Maurice drops a cryptic post that fans will link back to this. He never lets these things slide quietly. Another agreed, saying, this is not the end, Maurice will shade, Bryne might react, and we're back to square one. As for Bryne, many fans are pleading with him not to fall into the trap of responding to any hidden shade or online speculation. They want him to focus on his rising career and let his relationship with Sonia speak for itself. One fan posted, Bryne is too talented to be dragged into drama. He should just keep shining and let them talk. Another said, if he listens to Sonia and ignores the noise, he will win in the long run. Drama dies fast but talent lasts forever. Clearly, fans are rooting for him to rise above the noise and not get overshadowed by the constant Maurice connection. In the end, this gist is proof that Sonia, Bryne, and Maurice form a triangle that fans simply can't stop obsessing over. Every move, every word, every indirect reference becomes a hot topic. Whether Sonia was genuinely advising Bryne out of love or subconsciously still tied to her past, the fact remains, she has once again become the headline, Bryne is in the middle of scrutiny, and Maurice's name is dragged back into the spotlight. Fans will continue to speculate, argue, and debate because the drama is far from over. So there you have it guys, Sonia allegedly advising Bryne to avoid public drama with Maurice has opened a floodgate of conversations. Some see her as mature and wise, some accuse her of still holding on to her past, while others think she's just trying to protect her man and herself from unnecessary headlines. But one thing is certain, this gist has added a fresh layer to the already complicated web of Sonia, Bryne, and Maurice, and you can be sure that fans are not letting it go anytime soon. And as always, this is your #1 blog gist Steph bringing you the hottest and most controversial breakdowns that you won't hear anywhere else. Stay locked in because with this trio, the drama never ends.